Hi everyone and welcome back. So I'm going to film a first impressions on these today, and these are the MUA Shimmer Sheets, and that was a mouthful. These are currently in Superdrug and they're £3 each. I've been looking for these for a couple of months now because there's only seems to be a select few Superdrugs that have these. So I was able to get hold of these but not in my local Superdrug, so they are quite hard to find. My local one doesn't have these and my local Superdrug has quite a big MUA stand. So basically the concept of these is they're meant to basically be almost like blotting papers but with highlight, but do not use these all over your face, especially the rose gold one. But they are basically sheets of paper and they are covered in highlights. So there are two. There's one called white gold, which is obviously a white gold, and one called rose gold, which is obviously a rose gold. Now I'm going to start off with the white gold first because this is the most subtle one. And so you get 40 sheets of paper that are basically covered in highlighter, and the white gold one is nowhere near what I was expecting. It almost looks like there's no product on the paper. It's only when you look under light that you can really see the shimmer. This one, as you can see me applying it now on the back of my hand, there's not a lot of highlighter payoff at all. I think if you were to use this in the sense of a traditional highlight, it's not going to give enough of a build-up of product to really kind of have a benefit. What I think these would be good for is almost using it as an all-over glow, but I would say more on something like a night out because it is going to be apparent there is going to be a lot of glitter. So I think that this is what this one is going to be best for, is an all-over glow, possibly on a night out. If you want to use it all over your face, why not? But this one I think I am going to get the most use out of just because I think it's going to be the best for my skin tone. The next one is rose gold, which is the one I was looking forward to trying the most. But as you can see from the swatch on my hand, this is way too dark for me. If you had deeper skin tone, this is going to look stunning. But if you're pale like me, probably give this one a miss. I'm going to find a way to make it work as a blush, but I would have to use a very subtle hand because this is incredibly pigmented, which I was not expecting at all. I thought that these were going to be a bit gimmicky, to be honest. I thought they looked a bit naff. I'm like, you're not going to get any payoff. As you can see from this swatch on my hand, this is the same sheet that I used to do that, and it doesn't look like I've used any product at all. One thing I did want to mention is as you pull the pages out, you almost are at risk of ripping out the whole book. I think as you use this more and more, it's going to get more and more fiddly. I guess you could leave the pages attached and use it like that, but again, that's going to get quite fiddly. I still think that the kind of aspect of it is quite gimmicky. I think how they should have packaged these is have it almost in like a box where you can pull the sheets out individually and then it kind of keeps them secure like that. And I know what I'm thinking of in my head, but I can't think how to kind of explain it. The only thing I could think to explain that is similar is in like diners when you have those like napkin dispensers, something like that. But in this, I know what I mean, but I can't quite phrase what it's called, but I think you know what I mean, if that makes sense. Something like that, so you're kind of keeping the product safe, but it's not kind of getting everywhere and it's still easy for travel. I think once I've used this more and more, it's going to get a bit faffy. Another thing with this is you're going to have to use a very subtle hand to apply it because it is a sheet, and if you were to physically rip, like say, a section of the sheet that you want, you've not really got the same control of how you apply the product as you would with a brush. So you kind of have the risk of kind of using it over your whole cheek rather than just highlighting a certain area, especially because this is so pigmented. I kind of feel like that's a drawback because you're just going to have a massive strip of highlight and you're not really going to be able to blend it out. I think another way to apply this, probably the best way, would be to use a brush on the sheet directly and then apply it to your face, but then that almost takes away the novelty or the point of having this because you could just use a normal highlighter. Whilst this is a good idea in theory, at the moment it kind of has more cons than pros. And I think if you travel a lot, this is a good idea, but equally, how much space does a tiny highlighter take up? You can get cheap eyeshadows for £1 that are small and would work as a highlighter. And also it just kind of sits like that. I can see it getting damaged quite easily. They did come in these like plastic bags, which I think I'm going to have to put it back in, but that doesn't seem like, although that's kind of I think what they're intending you to do, it doesn't seem like the best solution because this could, you know, very easily get lost. I kind of think they should have made these in a plastic casing just to kind of keep them more secure, but obviously they put it in the paper to kind of save costs, but equally I think they put them in the paper to try and mimic the kind of design of blotting papers. So like I said, I think if they were to bring these out in different packaging, which I know they're not going to do because these are so new, these would be a really good idea. So maybe buy these but then put them into another container, which kind of takes away the point of buying them, but that's all I could think. Whilst I would still recommend these, I definitely think you need to find a way to make them work so that they don't like get everywhere, you don't get too much product everywhere. So I kind of think that it's losing the novelty by trying to find some way to kind of make this work. Because yeah, you'd have to just keep putting it back in the plastic to travel with, which is okay, I guess, but it's not, you know, the most convenient thing. The plastic could get lost, the plastic could get ripped. It just seems kind of more faff than it's worth. I can't see these being something that someone would reach for every day in place of a normal highlighter. I think even for, like, say the argument of using them on the go is a bit flawed, because especially with this really pigmented rose gold one, you still need to be so careful how you apply it. You probably need to bring a brush anyway to make sure you're applying it perfectly. A mirror, you can't just like swipe it and go. So for that, you might as well just bring a normal highlighter with you. I would say if you have to get one, I'd actually recommend the white gold one, even though it doesn't look like anything special in the pan. I think for this concept of a product, I think it kind of almost needs to be subtle and not very pigmented, just because, like I said, for the whole convenience thing, you probably could just swipe this on without looking if you just want a really kind of like, not dramatic, but more kind of shimmer than a glow. So like I said, this is so shimmery. I would set another swatch now. This would be, I think, really good for a night out, which you could pop this in your handbag for work, just keep it zipped up, and if you have, say, an impromptu night out, you've got this. I think that's what this is going to be the best for. Whereas the rose gold one, whilst it's beautiful, I just don't think it works in this concept. So let me know if anyone has tried these, if they know any ways how they made them work, if you really liked them, if you really didn't like them. Let me know if you have any kind of video ideas or any comments, and I will see you next time.